Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Fearless Road podcast, where we explore entrepreneurial insights, stories, and advice on embracing fear, breaking boundaries, and achieving goals on the road to success. I'm your host, Michael Devous. And after years of overcoming obstacles and tragedy, I began to wonder, how does someone become fearless? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out. In every episode, we dive into the lives of individuals who've learned to turn fear into fuel, face some incredible challenges, and cultivate a fearless mindset while navigating their fearless road. So join me for in-depth interviews with some amazing people where we investigate more deeply the valleys on their road to success, because the valleys are where character is built, foundations are laid, and where the fearless are born. Welcome to the Fearless Road podcast. All right, and we are back with part 2 of the episode with Karlis Bardelis, exploring what borders mean to him. And I'll let him take it away. Enjoy.
Yeah, I was very inspired by one quote by Thor Heyerdahl. He is an explorer from Norway. He's an explorer from Norway, Thor Heyerdahl. He did an expedition called Kon-Tiki. And they made a documentary, and they got Academy Awards in, I guess, 1960 as a documentary movie when they traveled with a raft from Peru to French Polynesia. And there was a reporter who asked him about borders. And what do you think about borders? And he replied, borders? I have never seen one, but I have heard that they exist in minds of some people. So, this quote stuck with me for the past, I think, 15 to 18 years. So for myself, there are definitely some borders in my head where, let's say, there are some activities that I cannot imagine myself doing. I just can't.
Okay. Like what? I mean, what would Karlis not be able to imagine?
I wouldn't imagine. When I watch Olympic Games, Winter Olympic Games, there is a sport where discipline where they go down with the skis by the very steep slope, like alone, one guy with big
ski jumping.
Ski jumping.
Yeah.
I mean, they are insane.
And then they fly.
And then they
fly like little squirrels at the end. Yeah, with those little...
Wow.
They have these little wings in there.
Absolutely. That's always fascinating for me when I watch that.
I would love to do that.
But for me, I have some fear of this feeling of flying. Like, I don't mind to fly in airplanes, or I once flew in a helicopter in Somalia.
Yeah. I love helicopters.
But fly from some trampoline, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I cannot imagine that. So here is the very thin line what I want to explain. Like, someone might say that, oh, Karlis, you're afraid of that. Oh, this is not your comfort zone. Go out of your comfort zone. Someone might say that. But at the same time, I am going there where my excitement is. I follow my excitement. So when I was following my excitement, it turned me to these adventures of human power. Like, step by step, I didn't start it right away rowing across the sea. No, step by step, I had some adventures before I was telling the concept of these layers, but I was following the excitement. I wasn't following the fear. So, it's a thin line, because...
But do you think that, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you think that a lot of us, when we're told to lean into what we fear, we're told to chase what we fear and face what we fear, because on the other side of that fear is accomplishment, is achieve, is what things that we achieve personally. Integrity is built, character is built, right? It sounds to me like what you've been able to do is discern a method for figuring out what excites you, even if it's a little scary, even if there's some fear involved in overcoming it or taking on that challenge. You know the difference between something that is you're afraid of because it's bad or it's it's got too much risk or danger, and something that you have fear around, but that it excites you, right?
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of excitement on the other side. Most of us are, and then this is, speaking from an entrepreneurial standpoint, the things we fear are the things that have great risk, but also great reward. Meaning we care about them so much that if they fail, that's what scares us. We don't want to lose at this challenge in front of us as a business, starting my own business, getting financing, building an empire, whatever it is, starting a new family, going back to school, things like that. How have you used this skill to lean into what excites you and make that determination? What's that? You say there's that thin line. But what does it feel like for you when you determine what the thin line is? Is it something you could teach somebody?
By thin line, I mean that someone from a side might say, if you're not challenging yourself, if you're not going outside of your comfort zone, then you might be like lazy person and just, no, I'm not saying that. Are you excited to be lazy? No, you are well, for me, it's always meant something. No, I want to do something. So I want to be active. There is this spark with the idea that, let's cross Europe with the roller skates, and I just cannot stop that idea. It just stuck with me, and if I'm not moving closer, doesn't matter what closer means, like 5 centimeters closer, or I worked whole week sending out proposals for sponsorship or something like that. It doesn't matter. Like if you're getting like 5 centimeters closer, one day closer to your goal, that's amazing feeling. And so for me, this thin,
I love that.
For me, this thin line is that, I feel fulfilled, and I feel that I'm getting closer to this fulfillment, which is this excitement of like waking up in the morning and asking, am I doing the right thing? And there is no doubt. Can you imagine that there's no doubt? You wake up in the morning and there is no doubt that, yes, this is what I want to do. So,
yes.
Yeah, that is so important.
I like the idea that you celebrate the inches, you celebrate the millimeters, you celebrate the small steps towards what excites you. Especially for those of us, I think, if we're thinking about big goals and big dreams that we're trying to take on. And I talked about this previously in my show, as well as in my speeches and stuff, about when we as humans would want to do, be, or have something that is beyond our current state, right? The next greatest version of ourselves. When we want to step into that, it's scary. It can be terrifying. It can be overwhelming. It can be challenging. But I wonder if we don't take enough time, as you say, to really celebrate the small steps in that direction, right? We don't have to leap there. We can take small steps towards those big fears, towards those big challenges, and enjoy the moments when we realize we are getting closer to becoming a better version of ourselves.
Yes.
That we are facing these challenges and we're taking them on, right?
Yeah. Well, I could absolutely agree, because this is this is the only way actually how I do all of my journeys. Some people might think that, for Karlis is nothing. 100 kilometers for him is nothing. No, 1 kilometer, 1 hour, 1 meter is the same for me. I'm human being, so it's the same for me. So it's the same for you, listener, for you who watches this. Is the same. You also have these 24 hours. So value this.
That's true.
That's present that you have every morning. Like, oh, you have this.
Yes,
this
every
resource.
time you wake up and face another day.
Yeah,
with those challenges in front of you, whether you're crossing an ocean or you're crossing the office, if you're building a future for yourself that includes bigger, brighter, amazing things, new challenges, new opportunities, new skill sets, new character values, things that you want to build for yourself, raising that bar little by little every single time you approach it is a reward in and of itself. And approaching it, fearlessly and taking that on is a reward, and you should be recognized for that. So many questions, Karlis. You know I have so many questions. But okay, so take us on the very first rowing adventure that you began. And then from there, ladies and gentlemen, Karlis is gonna take us on the journey around the world, but we're gonna talk about how he got in the boat, what it was like to begin this journey of rowing. And then there's a couple of really incredible moments. If being on the side of a mountain where lightning strikes isn't enough for you, hold on to your seats, because this is going to hold on to your boat and your oars because it's going to get good. It's going to get better. So take us into that first moment when did you fall in love with your first boat?
Absolutely. Well, and I still haven't changed the boat. The boat has been on all of my ocean crossings. And so, yeah, I went to pick up the boat from UK. I knew that this boat is experienced. Like we joked with my friend with whom we crossed the Atlantic, that is the most experienced team member, because the boat has already 3 crossings under the belt.
But equipment, ladies and gentlemen, good equipment and good tools. Those are key.
Absolutely.
To success.
And the backups and the backup of the backups. It's in the ocean rowing.
Yes. Well, and you know about backups because my computer died, and I thank you for your email and wishing me well and good luck on that journey, because that was terrifying for me to lose some of my work and potentially lose some of my work. Have backups, ladies and gentlemen. As Karlis says, have a backup for your backup, because that could save you.
So the first journey, that journey actually justified its name in 150%, because we called the expedition the slowest way to Rio. So
the slow road to Rio.
Yeah, the slowest road to Rio, slowest way to Rio.
Mm-hmm.
So we started actually not from Latvia but from Namibia, because when I did Googling, I understood that when you do some research, you understand on which side of the ocean you need to start to be able to actually cross. And there are quite many things that goes into this in that equation.
Namibia, where is that?
Namibia, it's just northwest from South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're. Let me just see if I got this right. Your first rowing was to go from the north of Africa,
south of
to
Africa,
Brazil.
South of Africa.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. That makes the world of difference, apparently.
Yeah.
From Africa to Brazil.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not a lake, not a small like a little like the Mediterranean, but the Atlantic Ocean was your first try.
So when we got the boat, and I don't want to promote this way of doing the things, but that was how it worked for me. We got the boat at the very end of the season, like when our seas and lakes were already freezing over here in Latvia. We repaired the boat, and by the time when we needed to leave, it was still very early spring, so we couldn't test the boat. So the only test we did with this boat was 32 kilometers on the river. 32 kilometers we did on the river, and then the next was Atlantic Ocean from Namibia to Brazil. And please don't do it at home.
Don't do it, ladies and gentlemen. Do not try this at home.
Absolutely.
Only serious professionals or Karlis Bardelis, who is our guest on the Fearless Road podcast today. Did you have... Okay, so when you did this, I would assume, did you have friends and family that were like, Karlis, what are you thinking? You're absolutely out of your mind. What in the world are you doing?
Well, I've been gifted by these amazing friends who most of the times they are very supportive. And at this time, of course, my mother and father, they were afraid when, unfortunately, the media were quicker than me, and the media posted my next journey, and my mother read that from the website, and then she called and like, what is going on? Like, they are saying that you are
Why didn't you tell me?
yeah. Well, unfortunately, but then I went back to my parents' place. I explained them everything what I have Googled and what I've learned for the past.
But I Googled it, Mom. It's okay.
Yeah, Google it yourself. It's on the Google, so it's true.
Oh my God.
No,
so it's true, right? Of course.
I mean, of course, we did our training. We did our training also. Basic safety on the sea, how to use all the equipment, how the navigation is being done, etc., how to communicate with the big ships, and everything. So step by step, making small steps towards the goal. And basically that's how we prepared. But then it's just that this example of we arriving in Namibia with experience of 32 kilometers of rowing on this boat, not counting the rowing machines in a gym, but with this boat.
How many months of preparation?
Actually, I would say that all my previous life was a preparation for that, because definitely these layers, I've put them on already years and years before. But the preparation for this project was a little bit more than 1 year. So.
I think it's interesting that you say, I like the idea that you're mentioning. I think for those of us, when we reach our stride, when we reach that level of success in our lives where things just fall into place, it's not because of luck. It is because I think we were prepared. Our lives prepared us to step into this version of ourselves 100%. And as soon as you do, and as soon as you're in that place and you're aligned with your purpose and you're aligned with yourself 100%, it's not that it's easy, but it feels right and it feels good. And because of that, you succeed. You just step into that success. And I think that's what our lives prepare us for. If you know how to follow that path and you know how to take those challenges on, all the skill sets and things you've been learning up to now, your whole life, can prepare you for this one moment to fully step into your full authentic self. And I think it's such an amazing thing if you can be on that path and in the flow of your life, then it becomes not easy, but it becomes amazing and successful and good,
Yeah, Michael. And just to underline one thing, which adds to that, what you said right now, that where this path is going, and actually that is the thing what I said before. I was following this curiosity, where this excitement of doing the things that I really kind of feel connected. I haven't done ocean rowing expedition, no, but I feel that there is this excitement, and I want to follow this excitement, and I want to see where it will lead me. And now, 7 years later, yeah, I rowed across 3 oceans, cycled across South America, and when people are asking me, so you planned this, that this is going to be your work also because now you're working as a speaker. No, I didn't plan it. I went because where the excitement was. After my journeys, when I came back home, people were inviting me, Karlis, we want to hear your story. Could you share your story? And there it started, just slowly, step by step. I started with schools, student groups, and then I went into companies, and now bigger and bigger companies are inviting, and they are inspired by the story, and they feel that there is a value to their team to hear this journey. And I could say I never planned that this is going to be like my path. I was following this excitement, and I saw that, oh, yes, I like to speak. I like to share my story, as you can see from this podcast. Like, you don't need to pull out, like, with the tools,
you don't
words
have to
from
ask me.
It's just stories. And I
Speaking of which, I love to share stories too, and apparently the turkeys love to share their stories. So if you'll give me 1 second, I have an entire flock of turkeys outside my door
worries.
that are squawking and squeaking. I'm going to just shut them down a little bit and tell them to be quiet. So just 1 second. I'll be right back.
We'll be back.
So that concludes part 2 of the interview with the incredible Karlis Bardelis, sharing his adventures in the world. And he's going to share in part 3 his first journey in his boat, rowing across the Atlantic Ocean. You've got to check that out. That's what's coming up in part 3. All right, so thanks for listening. Remember, like and subscribe. Bye.